In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to take your Notion pages from this to this. I'll be including all my best tips on how to make your Notion pages more aesthetic and some cool features that you might not know about. Now, some people might think that aesthetics are a waste of time, but having aesthetically pleasing pages on Notion can actually increase your productivity as you'll be excited to use your Notion pages every single day, so it's definitely worth the effort. Let's jump straight into the tutorial, but just before we do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Okay, so here we have a very simple travel planner, and I've not really done anything on this page in terms of aesthetics. It's just a very simple layout with a few different databases. So I'll just talk you through it very briefly. We firstly have the actual travel planner where you input all of your trips, the dates. I've added in some formulas here that will automatically work out the length of the trip based on the dates in here. And I've got a little countdown here as well that will count down how many days to go until the start of the trip. You can also link up the city that this trip will take place in. So if it's a trip, for example, this one, which is to Portugal, you can actually select multiple cities here as the cities that you're going to visit. In this table, we have all of the cities, so this is what you can relate to the trips up here, and on here it will bring up what country that city is in, and then it will also bring up any trips that have taken place in that city. And finally, I have the countries table where I have the name of the country here and any cities that I've visited in that country. So this is quite a nice travel planner, but it is very ugly and it's not very aesthetic at all. So in this video, I'm going to be turning this travel planner into a really fun aesthetic travel planner, which I think you'll like a lot more than this one. So let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do to make this a little bit more aesthetic is we're going to add an icon to this page. So to add an icon, you're just going to hover up here and simply click add icon. And to start, it will add a random icon, so you can click on here to change it. So feel free to pick an emoji. You can pick something from Notion's icon library. They have a ton related to travel in here, like these ones. Or you can also upload a custom one. Sometimes I will go onto Canva and find a graphic that I like and upload it here. So in this example, I'm actually going to use an animated icon because they look quite fun. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So firstly, we're going to head over to giphy.com to find a sticker that we like. Okay, so here we are on giphy.com. So this is where you can find a ton of GIFs and stickers to use within your Notion. So you're simply going to type into the search bar something related to whatever you want to find. So I'm going to type in travel as an example. Okay, and if you just give it a few seconds to load, it will bring up a ton of GIFs that you can use as your icon, and you can also use these as your cover photo as well. So if you find something like this that you want to use as a cover photo, feel free to do that as well. I actually prefer these stickers over the GIFs for icons because they don't have a background and they just look a little bit better as icons. And I'm just going to pick one that I like. So I think I'm going to go with this one here. So when you've decided on the icon, you can simply click on this little link button here and that will copy the link to your clipboard. So let's head back over to Notion. Okay, so back over in Notion, I'm going to click on our icon and I'm going to select the custom option, and I'm simply just going to paste in that link that we just copied and click submit, and it'll take a few seconds, but it will grab that icon from giphy.com. So you don't have to download it and re-upload it, you just paste in the link, which is really quick and easy. So just before we jump back into the tutorial, I just want to mention that my new Second Brain template is now available on my store. It's a super advanced all-in-one productivity system. I'll leave a link in the description box below if you're interested. So that's all, back to the tutorial. So I feel like that already looks a lot better, but we can also make it even more customized by adding a cover photo. So I'm going to click add cover, and again that is going to add a random cover photo. So we can change it here by selecting change cover. There are a few built-in cover photos here, as you can see. You can upload one, you can paste in a link if you find something online, or you can use Unsplash, which is a free stock photo library. They have a ton of amazing images that you can use as well. So if you just type in something like travel and just give it a second to load, there are so many amazing photos that you can choose from. So something like this would work really well as a cover photo, and it would look like this. So just remember that it does crop in any images that you select. So you might have to play around with the positioning to find an area of the image that you like. So you could go with something like this. I'm actually going to keep this super simple. So I'm actually just going to pick this one here, and I'm actually just going to reposition it so that we can see more of the blue color like that, and I think that looks quite good. So I'm just going to leave it like that, but feel free to play around and pick an image that you really like. Okay, now the next thing you can do to make your Notion page look a little bit better is by changing the font. So we currently have the default font, but if you click up here on these three dots in the corner, you actually have a couple of different fonts to choose from. So you can choose the serif font, which looks like this. So it will change the font even in the databases as well. So that one does look a lot better, and you can also choose mono, which I quite like as well. So this is what the mono font looks like. So it's completely up to you, just pick something that you like. I think for now I'm just going to stick with the default option just because it's easier to do the tutorial with the default. It's easier to read, but at the end we can change it again to a different font to see what it would look like. Another thing that you'll want to ensure you've done already is make sure that your page is set to full width. So again, if you click on the three dots up here, you want to make sure this full width option has been selected. If I switch this off, it just takes up a small portion of the page. It tends to look a lot better with full width, and you can also just get a lot more information on the page. So just make sure it's full width. Now, the next tip I have for having an aesthetically pleasing Notion page is to not cram too much information all onto one page. So as you can see here, I've got 3 different databases all on one page. So it would be much better to have each database on a separate page and then create a menu and place it in a sidebar on every page so that I can navigate to the different pages within the planner. So let's add a page for the cities database and then another page for the countries database. So I'm simply just going to type in /page and select this option. That's then just going to open up a new page. So the first one we're going to do is cities, and I can also select an icon for this as well. I think for this one we'll just use Notion's icon library, and I'm just going to select a pin icon like this one, and I'm also just going to make this page full width as well. Okay, so let's head back to the travel planner. I'm also just going to make one more page here, so /page, and this one is going to be the countries page, so I'm going to name it countries. So now I've created these pages, I'm actually just going to move the databases that we have on the home page into the individual pages. So to do that, if you just hover next to the table and click on these 6 dots, you can actually drag the table. I'm simply just going to drop it into this page like this. It's disappeared and it will now be found on the cities page. If I just go here, here is the database that I've just dragged and dropped into here. So I'm just going to do the same for the countries one as well, just drop it onto the countries page. And you could have a ton more pages within a travel planner for various different things. So I could also have a page for food. So let's add a food page. And we could also have a page for a journal as well. So let's just set up a journal page. So the next thing that we can do to make this travel planner look a lot better is by creating a menu for all of these pages and placing that in a sidebar. So to do that, what we're going to do is use a call out block. So I'm going to type in /callout and select this one. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the icon. So it's come up with this little pin icon. So I'm actually just going to pick a menu icon like this one. So it's just the 3 lines, which usually represents a menu. And then I'm just going to type in the word menu as the title. And I'm just going to bold the text as well. I'm also just going to add a divider into here. So if you just add a divider by typing in 3 dashes like this, it will add a divider. And then if you just drag and drop that into the menu, it will place it inside that call out block like this. Now in a second, I'm going to make it a lot smaller so it doesn't go all the way to the other side of the page, but for now we're just going to leave it as this whilst we create the menu. So we can now add in all of these menu items into the call out block. So I'm simply just going to place my cursor here, drag and highlight all of the different items, and then if I click on the 6 dots here and drag them, it will allow me to drag all of them and drop them inside this call out block like this. So now that we've got the menu, I actually want to place it in the sidebar, and I want to see our travel planner here next to it. So we're going to add in a couple of columns. So I'm just going to type in /2C and select 2 columns like this. Let's grab the menu by clicking on the 6 dots and then just dragging it here into the first column. And then I'm just going to grab this database here and place it in the column next to it. So we now have 2 columns like this. Obviously the menu doesn't need to be this wide. So if you just hover here, you can actually change the size of the column. So I'm just going to make it a bit smaller so it actually looks like a sidebar like this. So already I feel like we've improved the look of the travel planner a lot. So I've gone with a monochrome grey look, but you could add colour into this by simply changing the colour of the call out block. So if you click on the 6 dots and select colour, you can actually pick a different background colour here. So just as an example, let's make it blue, and that would look like this. Another option that I really like is the default option. So again, if you click on the 6 dots, select colour and click the default background, it actually just adds a white background, but it does have a box around it. So again, this is quite a nice look. So just pick the one that you prefer. I'm just going to stick with the grey one for now. Now the next thing I'm going to show you how to do that looks really aesthetic is adding a post-it note into your Notion space. So this is something really fun that I like to do on a lot of my templates, just because it's a handy place just to make some notes, and it does look really cool as well. So we're going to use another call out block like this one. So I'm just going to type in /callout and again select callout. And you want to ensure that the icon is this pin icon here. So if you click on the icon and under emojis, just type in pin and select this pin icon here. We're then going to change the color. So I'm going to click on the 6 dots, go on color, and we're going to change the color to yellow so it actually looks like a standard post-it or sticky note. Next, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So if you just place your cursor inside the callout block, hold down the shift key on your keyboard and just hit enter a few times, it will make it bigger. And you're just going to keep going until you've got like a square shape like this. So it actually looks, as you can see, like a real sticky note. So now you can just add random notes to this. So at any point you can just click in here and just say, for example, book flight tickets. It's a pretty nice place just to write yourself little reminders and things like that. Now, another handy Notion hack that I'm going to show you is you can actually put this sticky note on every single page within your travel planner. So I could put it, for example, on the cities page, on the countries page, and so on, and you can have it synced to the original one. So if you add a note on one of the sticky notes, it will be reflected on all of them across the whole planner. So to do that, we're actually going to use a synced block. So just underneath, I'm going to type in /sync and select this synced block option, and that will create this little red outline. Now, anything that you want to be synced, you want to place inside here. So I'm actually just going to drag and drop this inside the red outline like this. So as you can see, we now have our synced block. So you'll know it's a synced block if it has the red outline. And if you want to place this on other pages, all you need to do is just click copy and sync, and then I can then paste that onto any other page. So let's just go onto the cities page and just paste it in here. So here is our cities page. So I've just added this into the sidebar. So let's just change the text on here. Instead of book flight tickets, maybe I need to book my hotel. And if I now go back to the travel planner, as you can see, the sticky note on the main page has also been updated. So it's a really handy system where you can make notes on any page. Next, I'm going to show you how to add some embed blocks. So there's a ton of things that you can embed into Notion, and they can again make your Notion space look a lot better. So in the context of a travel planner, I'm actually going to embed a Google map because I think that would work well, but there are a ton of other things that you can embed. So if we just go down here and type in /embed, you can embed something like a PDF, as I said, a Google map, you can embed tweets, you can embed anything from a ton of different apps that you may use. So I'll just show you a few of the different options. For example, if you use GitLab, if you use Trello or anything like that, you can embed so many different things that may be useful. So as I said, in this case, we're going to embed a Google map. So I'm going to select this Google map option, and it's then going to ask me for a link to a Google map. So let's head over to Google Maps to find a link. So here we are over on Google Maps. So you just want to find an area of the map that you want to display on your Notion. So I think I'm going to go with this map here of Europe. You could have a map of your country. So for example, if you live in Spain, you might want to have a map here of Spain. Or if you live in the US, you may want to have a map of the United States. So as I said, I think I'm going to go with Europe. So you just want to centralize the portion of the map that you want to see in your Notion. So it will not grab the entire map that you see here. It will grab kind of a square portion like this in the middle. So I'm just going to put this part of the map here in the middle because that's what I want to see. And then I'm simply just going to copy the link that you see up here. So just copy it, and let's head back over to Notion. Okay, and back over in Notion, I'm just going to paste that link into the block here and click embed map. And that's going to then bring up the map. So I actually just want this to appear in the sidebar. So I'm just going to click on these 6 dots here and just drag it until it goes into the sidebar. Let's just put it above the sticky note actually, like this. And you can also play around with the size, so it's quite big at the moment. So I'm actually just going to click on this little bar here and just make it a little bit smaller like this. So this map will then work exactly as Google Maps normally would. So you can play around with the zoom and you can zoom in. It's essentially just Google Maps in your Notion space. So it works exactly the same. Okay, so now that we've added this really cool sidebar, feel free to add this onto all of the pages that you see here so that you can easily navigate between the different pages. But now we're going to work on this portion of the travel planner because it still looks a little bit ugly and it could look a lot better. So the first thing we're going to do is give this database a title. So this is where I'm going to look at all of my upcoming trips. So we're actually going to title this section upcoming trips. So there are a ton of different ways to add headings. You could add a H1 block like this and simply just title it upcoming trips. But these don't particularly look super exciting. So what we're actually going to do is use another call out block like we've used in the menu. So I'm going to type in /call out and grab this block, and I'm going to title this one upcoming trips. And I'm just going to grab that and put it above the table like this. I'm just going to bold that as well. And just to make it look a little bit better as well, I'm just going to add some spaces in between each letter like this. So it just looks a little bit more interesting than it did before. You can also italicize it if you like, so it would look like this. I think in this case I'm just going to keep it normal, and I'm just going to change the color as well so that it matches the menu. So I'm just going to click on the 6 dots, select color, and we're going to go with gray so that it matches this one. You can then also change the icon. So I think for this one we're going to use one of Notion's icons, and I'm just going to select an airplane like this. Now the next thing we're going to do is add some default icons. So if you look in some of the databases, you'll see this automatic page icon appearing everywhere. Now this is one of Notion's default icons, and I don't like it. I think it looks ugly, and I would much rather have a unique icon displaying here that I've chosen myself. So let's start by adding a default icon for any trips that we add into the system. So to add an icon, we're going to click on this down arrow here, and we're going to select new template. Now all I'm going to add in here is the icon. So I'm going to select add icon, and I'm going to choose the icon. So I'm going to go with Notion's icon library, and let's just select this aeroplane as well to display for every single trip. Now that's all you need to do, just add the icon and then hit the back button. Next we're going to click on the down arrow again, and next to the template that we've just created with that icon, hit the 3 dots, and we're going to set that as default and select for all views in the trip planner. So that just means anytime we add a new trip into this database, it's going to add that icon automatically. So if I just add another one as an example, let's say I'm going to Paris, as you can see that icon has now automatically been added, and it looks a lot better than the ones above that don't have an icon. Now anything that's already in the system will not automatically have that icon added to it, so you will just need to open the pages of anything that's already in here, and you can just select the new template that we've created and it will just add the icon. So I'm just going to do that for these 4. So now that I've done that, as you can see, this database is already looking so much better than it did before. But I'm just going to do the exact same thing for the cities and countries so that we can get rid of all these annoying page icons. So let's go over to cities. So here we are on the cities page. I'm going to do the same thing. So I've just added the pin icon to all of these. It looks so much better. And if I add any new cities, let's just add Miami, and as you can see, the pin icon is automatically added. And if you notice as well, on the trips column, it's now bringing up that aeroplane icon that we added on the other page. And again, it just makes the databases look so much better having these individual icons rather than the pages. Now the next tip that I have that will absolutely change the way your workspaces look is by changing everything that you can into a gallery view. So these tables are quite useful. It's easy to be able to fill in the information, but if you convert it into a gallery view, it looks so much better. So I've already created one here. So if I just go on here, so here is the default gallery view. So I'm going to show you how we can make this look a lot better. So the first thing we're going to do is just hide the title of the database. If you just click on the 3 dots, hide the database title. So it'd be nice if we could see more of the information for each of these trips on the card, like the date of the trip, the countdown to the trips. So to add some of the properties to the cards, we're going to click on the 3 dots here, select properties, and this is going to bring up all of the properties within the database. You just want to select the ones that you want to see. So I want to see the date, so I'm going to click on this little eye icon here. That's going to unhide it and add it onto the card. Let's have the length of the trip and also the countdown, so the days to go property as well, so I can see how many days there are to go until my trip. Another thing that will make this look a lot better is if we could display a cover photo for each trip on this gallery view. Firstly, we need to change the settings to show a cover photo. So again, we're going to click on the 3 dots, select layout, and where it says card preview, it usually comes up with page contents. You want to make sure this is set to page cover, which essentially just means it's going to pull through the cover photo of this page as the photo. So then we actually need to add the cover photo. So let's start with this Italy road trip. So I'm just going to open the page and I'm going to select add cover. We're then going to change the cover, and I'm going to use the Unsplash stock photo library for this one. So I'll just type in Italy and pick a nice photo. So let's go with this one. So if you just give it a second, Notion will automatically download the photo for you, so you don't have to bother with downloading and uploading photos. So once it's uploaded, it will then display on the card, and again, you can click on this reposition if you want to see a different part of the photo. So I think I'll put it around there. So I'm just going to add a photo using the same system for all of these trips. Okay, so as you can see, I've now added a photo for each trip. So it's now a lot more customized than it was before. Now, the next thing we're going to do is change the names and icons of these tabs. This is one thing that I hate, is when I see databases that just have the name and the automatic icon. So I'm actually just going to change the name. So instead of gallery, let's rename it and just change it to upcoming. And I'm actually just going to change the icon as well. So you can select from Notion's icon library. So let's just get a clock symbol to indicate that they're upcoming trips. And I'm just going to pull that one to the front. Now, the table tab contains most of the key details about the trip. So I'm actually just going to rename this one. Instead of table, let's call it details. And I'm just going to change the icon as well to a different table like this one. And I've also got a calendar tab which shows all of the trips on a calendar view like this. So I'm going to leave the name as calendar because that does make sense. And I'm just going to change the icon as well to a different calendar. I don't know why, but I just think it looks a lot better with the Notion icons rather than the default ones. Now, another thing that I'm going to add just underneath is this is going to be our upcoming trip. So once we've completed a trip, I want a place to be able to find any completed trips. So I'm actually just going to add that underneath here. So I'll just skip to the finished project now. Okay, so I've just added that completed trip section. So it looks very similar. I've got the same heading here so that it all matches, but it says completed trips, and obviously you've got some actual completed trips, and it says how long ago the trip was, which is really fun. Now just to divide these two sections up, I'm going to add a divider in between. So if you just type in 3 dashes in a row, it will just add a divider like this, and it just helps separate the two areas, and again just makes it look a little bit better. We're also going to add a countdown widget so that you can count down to your next trip. So to add a widget, we're actually going to use a website called Indify. It's completely free and you can download some really cool widgets. So let's head over to Indify. So here we are over on Indify. So you just want to create an account. It's really quick, and as I said, completely free to create an account. Here are some widgets that I've already set up. So once you've logged in, you just want to have a look down here and look for the countdown widget and select create widget, and you can give it a title. I'll just call it trip countdown and click continue. So then we're in the widget editor. So the first thing you'll need to put in is a title. So let's just say next trip as the title, because it's going to be a countdown to my next trip. And then you just need to select the date that you want to count down to. So let's just put a random date, and that will then display on the widget. So you can play around with what you actually want to see on the widget. So I don't really want to see year, month, week. I just want it to count down in days. So now it will say it's 52 days, 8 hours, 40 minutes and seconds. So you can turn the seconds on or off depending on what you like the look of. So you can also play around with the text colors and the background colors down here. So I think for this one, I'm going to select a background color. Let's just make the background color a yellow color like this one. Okay, I quite like the look of that. Again, feel free to change the text color if you like. And once you're happy with the look of the widget, you just want to click on this clipboard icon here to copy it to your clipboard. We're then going to embed that into Notion. So let's head back over to Notion now. So back in Notion, let's just head down here into the sidebar, and I'm going to type in /embed and select the embed block. And you're just going to paste in that link that we just copied and click embed link. So that's going to then bring up our countdown widget, and it is automatic. So it will continuously count down until the date that you've set. So as you can see, the seconds is already going down, and I do just want to move this to the top of the sidebar. So I'm just going to grab it and drag and drop it up here, and let's just make it a bit smaller because it doesn't need to take up that much room. So this is the finished home page. So you can add this menu onto every single page. So you just want to copy and paste it and add it onto all of these pages so that you can see this information and easily navigate between the different pages from any page within the template. Now, one thing I want to mention about the menu is if you copy and paste this menu, it will create a brand new page for each of the things in your menu. So essentially it's like having a different copy of it every time. They're not synced up. So what you actually want to do is create a copy of this first and then copy that copy. Hopefully that makes sense, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So you want to click on here firstly and just duplicate this block. Okay, and then once that's duplicated, you just want to get rid of the pages. So I'm just going to delete each of these. Next, what we can do is we want to grab the links to these pages. So as I said, if you just copy that page, it's going to create a brand new page, but we want to link to the existing page. So I'm going to type in @ and the word cities to find the cities page. So here it is. You can then just drag and drop that into the menu. So you'll know that it's a copy because it'll have this little arrow icon here. The original pages will not have a little arrow next to the icon. So this can sit on your home page. These are the original copies of the pages, whereas these ones are just links to the existing page. So let me just add the other pages in here quickly. So here is the copy version of the menu. So this is the one that I'm going to copy and paste into all of the different pages. So I'm simply just going to click on the 6 dots and just press Command C on my keyboard to copy it. Let's head over to the cities page, and you can then just paste the menu into the sidebar. Let me just move that to the top, and feel free to paste all of the other things in here as well, like the post-it note and the map and anything else, the countdown widget as well. Now, one thing that you'll notice is once you start copying and pasting these pages, you'll get this annoying little 1 backlink or 2 backlink thing appear at the top of every page. Now, I personally don't like it, so I'm going to show you how to get rid of it. You simply just want to click on the 3 dots up here, select customize page, and where it says backlinks, you want to change this to off, and it will just get rid of that backlinks thing. So you do have to do this on every single page, which is a little tedious, but at least it gets rid of it. So that is everything that we're going to be doing on this travel planner today. So I do think it looks a lot better than it did in the beginning. I do just finally want to show you a couple of other bonus tips to make your workspace look even more aesthetic. So I just want to show you a few more widgets that you can embed into your Notion spaces. So I showed you this countdown one here a moment ago in the trip planner. So the first one is this life progress bar that I see on so many people's dashboards. This one again is from Indify, so it just gives you a little progress update on where you are in the year, the month, or the week. And the second one that I love is this weather one, so you can set it to any location. I've got mine set to London, and it will just show you the weather forecast for the week. And this one, as you can see, if you look closely, it is animated. Now I'll just show you quickly where you can grab these from. So again, you can find these on indify.co, which is where we got the trip countdown widget from just a moment ago. So if you just have a look under their volume 1, you'll find the live progress bar here and the weather one here. So let's start with the live progress bar. You just want to click create widget, type in the title. I'm just going to call it live progress. And again, this will bring you to the editor where you can play around with the settings. So another feature that it does have is the actual life progress. So you can input your birthday and how many years you expect to live, and it will tell you how far along you are in your life. I personally found it a little bit depressing, which is why I switched it off. So you can get rid of any that you don't like using these toggles. So I'll switch off life, and you can switch off, for example, quarter as well, and just be left with the ones that you're interested in. Again, it works the same as the countdown, so you can just copy the link here and paste that into Notion. And if you're interested in the weather widget, you'll find that here as well. So you simply just create the widget, input your location, so it usually comes up with San Francisco, so I'm just going to change mine to London. You can select the preferred unit, so I'm going to go with Celsius, but I know a lot of people use Fahrenheit. And again, there are so many different things you can play around with. You can change the number of days that it shows. You can play around with the icons, so you can make them static rather than animated. You can grayscale them if you like this. I think I'm going to leave mine animated. And again, just copy the link and paste it over in Notion. One thing that I love about the weather widget is that you can play around with how it looks on here. So once you've pasted it into Notion, you can have it display horizontally like this, but if you push the bars in like this and drag the bottom down, it will actually display it for you vertically. So this could go really well in a sidebar if you have one as well. So I quite like that. It's really easy to play around with the sizing of this one. And that's it. Remember to check out all of my pre-made Notion templates, including my new Second Brain template, which is an all-in-one productivity system, over on my store. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And if you did find this video useful, then I'd really appreciate if you could give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as I post new Notion tutorials like this one twice a week.